Okay guys, here we are back at Miss Camille's house. Yesterday kind of went, I don't want to say it went bad, but my phone didn't want to cooperate with me yesterday. I was the only one here. I was trying to film and work and go underneath the sink, back up, back down, back. You know, it kind of gets difficult to do everything at once. So I kind of just let the video cut off yesterday. But here's what happened to catch you back up. We went ahead and decided to go with a different sink. So I went to our local Home Depot yesterday and we picked up this this one here. Now, it's a really nice sink, yeah. Or faucet, sorry. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna install this today. So first things first, we'll go outside, we'll disconnect, and we'll cut off the water, and yeah, walk with me. Let's go do that real quick. We'll do a pair of pliers. All right, let's go. Hey Max, here, buddy. Hey Max, what you doing, bud? That's a good right there. Let me put on my wide angle. Good boy. Okay, nice little neighborhood. Here's the mayor's house right there, Mayor Ripley. Okay, so we're gonna go in here. We have two separate water valve systems. One is for our 8-zone sprinkler system, and the other is obviously for the main water shutoff. Looks like we got rain last night, so we're gonna obviously have some water in here. I'm trying to locate the valve. There we go. All right, and she should be off. Okay, let's make sure our meter's not running, spinning. It's an indication whether you got your water completely off or not, guys. The meter, this little fan looking deal here, right in the middle, it'll spin if any water is going through that line. So if you ever think you have a leak, what you can do is shut off everything that you know of, like all the sinks and faucets and outside spigots and everything. Shut everything off and then come out here and look at your meter, and if it's still spinning, most certainly you've got water leaking somewhere. Little quick tip. Okay, let's go back in here. Man, I really need somebody to follow me around with the camera, and also need a better way to shoot. You know, the Note 10 Plus, she's a really great phone. I love this phone. But one thing I don't like about it, it wasn't meant to be a main shooting camera, in other words. Alright. Alright, so guys, we've got the water off now. We're gonna turn our valves on down here. Let's get our towels to soak up any kind of water that may come through these lines. Alright, valve number 1 this side. Okay, that's that one on. Let's do the valve number 2. Okay, we didn't have any water come through valve number 2, so we may be stopped up on valve number 2 as well. And you see we got a lot of crud coming through the pipe here. Look at the towel. This house, I don't know if I've mentioned it before, but this house is built with galvanized steel pipes running completely throughout the main section of the house. And it's been about, I don't know, it's been quite a while since the house was built. And now they're starting to see what happens. One thing at a time though, guys. We're trying to get this done. Alright, so I'm gonna have to pause the video. We're gonna try to get this thing undone, and I'll be right back. Now if I run into any special issues, I'll fill you in. Okay guys, I'm back. We're back here at Camille's sink install, faucet install, and kind of want to give you guys a look around at what it looks like under here. If you guys have never done anything like this before, or you plan on doing a job like this, I've already disconnected the two water lines. You got a cold and a hot that run up to each handle on this faucet. Hopefully you guys can make this out on the video. Let me turn my headlamp on. Okay. Now, water, when you turn the valves on, water will come through this line. It'll go to the handle. When you turn the handle up there, it will allow water to flow through here and come out of the faucet itself. Now, I've never been a fan of this type of setup because they kind of got a small preliminary. Water comes through the physical parts of the handle on both sides, and if you have a situation like we have with these galvanized steel pipes rusting, and that's what's exactly has happened here, the parts to these get stopped up, and I'll show you that now. Here are the handles to the sink. Now this is the same style sink we're going back to, but it's an updated design. Alright. These, sorry guys, give me just a second. My goodness. I don't know why anything don't go right with me, but it doesn't. Okay, sorry. Alright, I gotta get this deckgum screw out of here. Out of the handle. Bear with me. Hopefully my incompetence don't make you wanna... Oh my goodness. Okay. Here is the piece I'm speaking of. Now water comes through this very small opening right here when you turn the handle. And when you turn the handle off, those two triangle shaped holes you see get closed off. Oh, I can't do it with one hand. But if you can see, they get closed off and it won't allow water to come through there. Well, particulate matter gets caught in these holes and it will completely stop the sink up. It won't be able to get water through them. So that was the initial problem. See, this one was completely stopped up because of the issue I just discussed. This one would come on, but the sink would constantly drip water. Drip, 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 drip. Now, I assumed it was going to be the seal right here, and it wasn't. Then I assumed it was going to be a handle seal. It wasn't. That's how we discovered that the galvanized pipe system is pretty much toast in the house. So what we're going to do is we're going to change this faucet out. And she's an older lady, and she don't really want to get into replacing all these lines and all that right now. So I'm trying to get it to where these things work and she don't have to incur all that expense at once. Now we may wind up actually having to do that, but in the meantime, I'm going to try to help her any way I can. Okay, back to under here. So now the next step for me is to take these. Let's zoom in on that a little bit, guys. We got you got two lock washers that you tighten up and it physically holds tight against the bottom of the vanity. It holds tight, so that's what creates your seal. Okay, I got to do that both sides. Okay, and then we'll take this line loose and we'll drop this piece here. We'll loosen this nut and we'll just simply replace the faucet, and it may hook up exactly like this one's going to, so it'll be a simple, you know, taking one out and putting it right back in and reversing the steps, guys. Okay, so I'll get to that and be right back. Okay guys, just another little quick tip. If you get to the point where, okay, we was up here like this, right? This is what it would have looked like with this stuff still attached, okay? You got this little plastic O-ring that just screws onto the top of the handle here, or the handle base, alright? So what you would do is unscrew that, set it off to the side, okay? Take this metal cover off, sorry, also set it off to the side, and then you'll see this this assembly looks like this now. Alright, if you'll take it and go underneath here, sorry, I think I need to charge my batteries. If you go under here, you'll see this little attachment thing here, okay? It just literally slides up over top of things and it looked like that. You just come under here, you'll loosen your lock washers up here, or lock nuts. Oh my goodness, here, let me turn my headlamp on. Yeah, I gotta charge that battery. Okay, and then you literally just take this after you disconnected it and pull down like that, alright? That will allow you to take your lock ring off, and we do it for both sides. Oh, guys. Okay, this one's being a little difficult. I had to do a little something else to this one because it got hung. Hold on, give me just a second. I'll be right back with you. Okay, back in business. What I wound up having to do, this lock ring got stuck on the threads. I guess it had some plumber's putty or whatever at the bottom of the threads. It's done gotten a little hard and it didn't want to come off. So all I did was, put the handy old pipe wrench up here, went underneath it, and the new faucets and the old faucet came with this it's a bunch of tools, a bunch of different functions at once tool, but it fits, see, it fits these just right. And it's meant for that, it's meant to be the tool that you install and uninstall PFister equipment with. So anyway, now that we've got those off, what we'll need to do now is simply lift these handle assemblies out of their respective holes, and we can set all of that to the side. Oh my god, I hope the audio was recording. I forgot I wasn't wearing my tape gum. Give me a second, guys. Jesus. I wasn't wearing my headphones, so I don't know if any of that audio just recorded or not. But anyway, I'll re-say it. I'll dub over it, whatever. Okay. Now we can see down to the bottom. Alright, our next step is to get this loose, right? So we go under here and take us a look. Alright, we've got a lock nut right there that's got to come loose. But first we need to get rid of this white assembly at the bottom so that when we loosen the nut, it will have the freedom to come off. Alright, let me get right back with you guys. I wish I had a cameraman. Okay, here's the assembly that was just right up there. And what you do is you reach up to the top. See, there's a little gray cap that is sitting up at the top. What you want to do is take your hand like this from the bottom and compress this little thing. Okay, and when you do that, it'll release. And then I found the easiest way to do, since everything's so close to the sink, I took a 13/16 deep well socket and put on the nut up here, and that allowed me to, pretty simply loosen it without struggling too much with, say, a pipe wrench or a monkey wrench or even a normal handheld wrench. So that may help you save a little bit of time. Okay, let me get this this nut off the assembly, and I'll take that out and we'll go from there. Okay guys, another small little update, a little caveat. I did wind up having to take the plunger pull assembly loose because it is physically part of the old faucet assembly. Just for quick reference. I thought I might have been able to separate the two, but it doesn't seem like I can. Okay, so here's some more parts to go to the used pile. We're just simply going to lift this out of the hole and take the seal ring off, and we'll take all these old parts and we'll put them all together. It's still a pretty decent faucet, so you know, I'm not going to throw it away. It can be reused. It just simply doesn't do good in this scenario. Okay. Alright. Here's how your new faucet's going to come packaged. It comes with your, cheat sheet or your quick installation guide, which, normally you'll want to go by that, especially if you had never done any PFister assemblies before. They're kind of unique. They do things their own way, so you will need to at least look through it unless you're already familiar. Okay. All right, guys, I'm gonna get to this, and obviously it's gonna be easier and quicker for me not to record while I'm doing it, but I will come in every once in a while and show you progress updates. But I'm just going to give you a glance at what it looks like out of the box here. It's really not that far off of what we had, but as you can tell, it's a little bit better quality. It is updated, and I think it'll work better in this scenario than the last one did. Okay, guys. My apologies. I didn't actually get into this, but since we're going to, it's going to be a bronze finish, obviously, so we'll need to go ahead and change this out. I just got through putting this in the other day, but we'll need to change this out so it matches the rest. So what you'll want to do is come down here below. You see your trap for your pipe here. You want to loosen up your trap and just swing it out of the way, okay? And you'll come up here to this lock nut. And I made it pretty tight the other day. Well, that's a monster pair. Alright, so anyway, and grip it. And just loosen it up there. And just drop this whole assembly down. Okay, well, I think you get the idea. But I'll be back in a second. Okay, guys, here's what I've done so far. You've got a small package that you'll find in your box. It'll contain 2 of these little plastic O-rings to go under each handle. And then it'll also contain this plastic piece here. It's shaped just like the bottom of the faucet. There's a seal, a rubber seal on the bottom, and it's plastic on top. You'll just want to make sure your sink goes down into it, and you put that on the bottom of your sink assembly, faucet assembly, before you go underneath and we do our next step. Okay, our next step is going to involve these 2 little puppies. What we'll do is we'll crawl under here. Okay, and we're going to first slide this half moon piece. You may want, what I refer to it as is a lock moon or a lock tensioner. What all it does is it slides over top of this, right, and it holds your faucet straight up and down. Okay, so we're going to take it, we're going to take it and we're going to slide it over this metal threaded rod right there, over that clear plastic pipe, and then we're going to take this little nut and we're going to run it up that threaded pipe until it's tight against the bottom of the sink. I'm going to do that now and get right back to you. Alright guys, now that we've got the faucet assembly installed, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take each one of the handle assemblies. Okay, Okay, and we're going to stick them down in each one of these holes. Okay, give me just a second, I'll be right back. Also, quick little side note, guys, these are color indicated, red for hot, and this one will be blue on the bottom, same place for cold water. So you might want to just pay a little bit of attention to that. Also, if you'll notice, it says here, if I can get it to focus, data manufacturer, please do not remove. It tells the next guy, you know, how old this faucet is. And that will not obstruct anything as far as the faucet is concerned. Okay. Alright, so that's what it's going to look like with your plastic seal, or your plastic component at the very bottom. And we're ready to go to the next step. Next step, more than likely what we'll do now is we'll go ahead and put the stopper assembly in, and that will involve, I'll show you the sheet over here. This is what we'll need to do. We'll need to assemble it. That's how it's going to look. This will be underneath the sink, this will be physically in the sink, and this will be above here. Okay, let me get this together and I'll get right back with you. Another nice thing about PFister is that the way they engineer their products, you don't have to use any Teflon tape or plumber's putty. So that's always, and I mean always, a positive, right? Okay, so they did this whole assembly come packaged in the same package with everything you'll need for the assembly itself, so that's convenience. They don't come in two different packages and you gotta match everything together, so that's another plus. You could go ahead and put the assembly in, but what I think I'll do next is I think I'll lock down each one of our handles, handle assemblies in place so that we can install each one of the handles next. It comes with, let me set the phone down just a second. Sorry guys. Okay, it'll come in a package like, each one of the handle assembly lock nuts will come in a package like this. They're exactly the same, both of them. Obviously, it's kind of self-explanatory. It will go on just like that from the bottom up, just like this. This goes against the bottom of the vanity, and you just twist it on. So that's what we'll do now. I'll get right back with you. Alright guys, I have got that completed. Here's another little quick tip for you. Alright, the instructions were to, come up under here and tighten your nuts up against the bottom of the assemblies for the faucets. Well, they kept wanting to move on me when I tried to get them tight, so what I had to wind up doing was coming up here and holding them with a pair of vice grips. But when you do that, what you'll want to do is you'll want to, oh my god, you want to loosen that up and fix that. That's really hard, not having two sets of eyes instead of just one, guys. Sorry. Shoot. Okay guys, we're back and I've got both of them in place. Looks like we have lost our little tag. Our little blue tag, but that's okay. It's really at the end of the day, it's not that important of an issue, but I have found it, so we're good. Okay, now what we can do is go ahead and hook up each one of the handle assemblies. Now I think we'll want to install them facing forward. That should be off. That should be on. Okay, what we'll do here. Okay, let me figure this out. I'll be right back, guys. Okay, guys, that's the next step done. We've got both handle assemblies on. They're both turning the way I prefer them to turn. Everything's tightened up down underneath. Okay, now we're ready for the next step, which will be now the stopper assembly, which is right here. Okay, I'll get back with you in just a second. Okay, I was going to go ahead and do the stopper assembly, but actually it looks like the rest of the assembly would go easier if I went ahead and did the rest of it. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do right now. Okay guys, I'll get back with you in just a second. I'm at a point where I can now go ahead and turn my outside water back on and clean the lines out and try to get a lot of this rust out of the pipes before I actually assemble them to my new faucet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a 5-gallon bucket here, or a 2-gallon, I'm sorry, and I'm going to clamp each one of these lines to the bucket. Okay, and my valves are off. So when I go out there and turn the water back on, I can come out here and just slowly turn each one of those valves on and not have to worry about water going all over the place or holding the lines or anything like that. So I'm going to go ahead and get that done and be right back. Okay, you guys are going to go along for the ride with me. So here we go. Look at that water. Oh goodness. Look at this water. Let's just come out of that pipe. That wasn't cool. Alright, I'm going to have to go dump this water. I'll be back. Here we are back, guys. I'm going to go ahead and drain this. Drain these lines a couple more times. You can see we're running now. And this is from the last few times I drained it. This isn't fresh. It looks like all the stuff is pretty much running clear now. We'll turn this other one on, see what she looks like coming out. Oh, she's feeling a little dirty. So I'm going to run these a few more times and then I'll get back to you guys and we'll go to the next step. Okay guys, here we are, almost ready for the final steps. We have this connection in place that connects all the hoses together. We have everything ready to go. Now we need to hook up the supply lines to each side. And to do that, what we have to do is put these little adapters on the ends of each one of the supply lines, which is exactly what I'm fixing to do right now. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put these little adapters in here, like so, and then we're going to attach it up here to that, like so. And I'm going to do one on each side, and I'll get back to you when we're done. While I'm thinking about it, guys, another quick little tip. If you'll notice, sorry about my hand here. If you'll notice, every time you put threads, okay, you put thread tape on, right? What you want to do is you want to wrap the thread tape in the direction that is opposite from the way you from the way you twist. So I want my final wrap of the thread tape to be coming up and around like this, right? So when I twist my tape in, it's not unraveling the tape off the threads as I'm threading it in. Does that make sense, guys? Because if I were to wrap it the other way, right, if I were to wrap it this way, when I'm turning the threads clockwise, the internal threads on this side will be undoing the tape, and it'll wind up in a bunch at the top of your at the top of your threads, and that's not what you want. So just be careful, guys, when you're wrapping this thread tape. Make sure you're wrapping it in such a way, and you got to pay attention, because it's not always going to be, you know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. Sometimes threads can be backwards on purpose, guys. So you got to pay attention. But that's a quick little tip I thought I'd, you know, let you in on while I'm thinking about it. Alright, guys, back to it. It's not going to be necessary, guys, to put thread tape up here, because if you can see this, it's got a small rubber O-ring right at the end of that hose. So when I make the connection, that O-ring is going to embed itself right in that groove that's in the end of the pipe right there, and it's going to create a watertight seal on its own. So the reason I did this other side was just a precaution in case the threads were boogered up on this old equipment. Okay? Alright, guys. Okay, guys. That is that. We've got everything hooked up. Everything is ready to be valve turned back on. But yet, I've got to do one more thing, and that's reconnect our trap that we disconnected, so it will make it easier for us to be working down here under this, right? Okay. So obviously all we're going to do here, sorry about the lighting, guys. All we're going to do here is connect this bad boy back right here, right? Okay. Or I'm sorry, right here. Right here, just like this. I'll see if I can hold this camera with my knees. Okay, we're gonna twist this down here. Okay, we're gonna make sure everything's good and tight under here too. Everything got loosened up. Alright. Then we're gonna go ahead and drop in our assembly for our drain, which, pardon the camera angle, guys, it's only gonna take one little second. Okay. What we're going to do is we're going to take the bottom threaded screw part and the cone shaped seal. We're going to drop the shaft of it down inside the sink. We'll grab our extra parts. We're going to come up underneath here. Okay. And we're going to put the smaller side up toward the base of the sink, like so. Okay. And go push it all the way up around here. Alright, next we're going to make sure our little plastic seal is in our threaded plastic nut here. And we're just going to take it. We're going to thread it right on the bottom where it goes, all the way up, and we're going to crank down on this baby. Okay, we're not going to put so much pressure that it starts popping these little plastic fins, but we want to get it tight enough, guys, because there is no plumber's putty anywhere used here on purpose. They engineered it so that you wouldn't have to use plumber's putty. And I love that, but you got to make sure you get the rubber seals good and tight. Okay, now what we want to do is put our this little plastic seal fits right down into the top of this pipe. I don't know if that's convex or concave, I can't think right now, but either way, that's how it fits on. We put this on first, right here, right? Okay. Then we put this the way it's going to fit into the pipe underneath that. Alright, that's going to keep the threaded thing from sliding off, okay? Okay, we're going to have to loosen this up and slide it back ever so slightly. Okay, now, there we go. Everything's met together. Tighten everything back down. Okay, that should be a completed job, but what we're going to do, we're going to spread the towel out and make sure we have no leaks and everything is indeed working properly before we clean up. Alright, and here we go. We're going to turn the cold water valve on. No leak, no drip. Looking good. Okay, hot water valve on. No leaks, no drips. Looking good. Okay, now we're going to come up to the top. We're going to test our drain. This is a click on, click off drain. We're going to click it off, open. Alright, cold water. Good stuff. Okay. Off. Hot water. Okay, let's test our stopper. Click down, hot water. I'm also testing to see if we get any particulates through. Let's check for leaks. Everything's looking okay, guys. We're holding water. And that's that. I want to thank you guys for sticking with me, if you stuck with me to the end of this video. And please guys, if you can, hit that like button, subscribe, and that bell icon will notify you each time we upload a new video. Until then, see ya.